Ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome to Meat People, the podcast of the Southwest Meat Association. I can't wait to have these conversations, and we're going to do everything we can to make it entertaining and valuable and a great representation of meeting the people. You might catch me messing with some of this stuff, but
fair enough.
Meat People podcast, you heard a little bit of this is how it kind of starts. We start just getting comfortable, getting ready to have a conversation, and tell everybody your name. Tell me your name again.
Okay, my name is Eddie Behrends.
Eddie Behrends.
Yes, sir.
All right. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see he's got some New Mexico flair. So where are you from?
So I grew up in Fredericksburg, Texas, and I've kind of been around with the meat industry, which has been good. I got to live in Colorado for a while, and now I'm in New Mexico at my wife's ranch, and so she always wanted to end up there, and I knew that going in, and it was an exciting deal. And so our kids are fifth generation on the ranch and want to keep it going, and so that's how I ended up in New Mexico, the land of enchantment, as they say.
Yeah, hey, that's a really cool story. Fifth generation. Mm-hmm. It's kind of unheard of, you don't hear that a lot.
You're right.
So big high five to you, your family, your wife, your kids, everybody for doing the hard work it takes to, kind of make that a reality.
Right. And it's, it's not a guarantee that the kids will, put the sixth generation there, but we're trying to make it as appealing and rewarding as we can, just so that they can see what we got out of it,
Yeah. Well, I've talked to somebody, in the podcast. I'm talking to so many people. I can't remember exactly who. I think it was a guy named Scott Hume, who's like a cutting horse guy. Mm-hmm. He put it a really good way. He said, if I don't give my kids an opportunity to see this can be financially fruitful, can be, spiritually fruitful, it can be all these kind of things, all I do is just work them into the ground.
Right, exactly.
What makes me think they're ever going to come back? So I thought that was really good, because as a business owner, as a guy who's got a farm or a ranch, some of the reason to have kids is the help.
Right. No, that's right.
Tell me about your kids a little bit.
So we have 3 kids. We have a daughter, a son, and a daughter. I always have to think of ages because time flies so fast, but they're 14, 12, and 9.
Yeah. See, I got a 16, 14, and 11.
Right. So they're all at the fun ages.
Yeah.
They're obviously getting more involved in everything. My wife is the ag teacher, science teacher, volleyball coach. We live in a tiny community, and so everybody does everything. Yeah. Our closet is full of many hats, which is good, because then the kids get exposed to a lot of different things. But they're getting active in FFA and all that good stuff, showing the cattle, heifers, and steers. And the oldest one, she is a spitting image of my wife.
Yeah.
And so she got into everything right away. The son's, he's a little more, apprehensive sometimes about trying things. But usually when he gets into it, then, he'll go full bore. And so he's really gotten into helping feed and actually paying more attention when calves are born and what all goes into that.
Isn't that funny? It's like the paying attention.
Right.
That matters.
Yeah. It's you kind of put them off in the corner, and then you're like, okay, whenever you're ready. And then every now and then you see them looking over, trying to see what's going on. And then whenever you notice that, they're interested, you set the hook and bring them in, and they become another vital part of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And my father-in-law lives right across the road. He's the one that kind of manages the ranch while we do other things to supplement funding for the ranch. Sure. And so him and my son like to go out a lot and tag calves and just, spend the day, grandpa and grandson. And
that's pretty cool opportunity for both of them.
We do not take it for granted.
Yeah.
Believe me.
All right. So we're at the meat forum.
Mm-hmm.
What brings you here?
So I am in charge. I am the executive manager of State Meat and Poultry Inspection for New Mexico. We in New Mexico are trying to bring back state inspection because we have an awesome ranching culture.
Yeah.
We are trying to build a meat culture. And our legislation a couple of years back decided that our ranchers need some help promoting and selling their product. And so we need to bring more avenues. And so the idea of bringing state inspection was on top of the list. And so they went through a lot of hurdles and everything to get it passed, and they finally did. So I guess I was the best guy they could find in the state to get it started again with my career and my knowledge and my background and my connections.
Well,
And
what is that?
What's that?
Your previous career.
Oh,
like you're playing this role. Yeah. What makes you kind of suited for this role?
Well, apparently, from what they tell me, all the things I've done, what I've seen. I grew up in Fredericksburg. We hunted. My dad was great about teaching me how to cut deer and make sausage and bring in the pigs and slaughter. And so I got really interested in that. Then I had a really great ag teacher that got me into meats judging, which I know is a recurring theme on this deal, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so that really sparked my interest, and it opened a lot of doors, even at the high school level, to see what all was out there. And both of my agriculture teachers had gone to Texas Tech, and so I was very interested in that. At that time, I was also in the band, and so Tech had a great band. They had a great drum line, and I thought, I'll just do both. Yeah, when you get to college, it's a lot different level. So I said, maybe I should focus more on what I can do, and that was enjoy the meat science side of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of my colleagues were going to Texas A&M, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go a different direction and see what it's like up there in the Panhandle. And so I'm glad I did, and judged meats there, and was fixing to graduate. Didn't know what the next step was. Thought, well, I'll just go to grad school. And Dr. Mark Miller said, hey, can you do me a favor? I said, yeah, Dr. Miller, whatever. He said, can you run the meat lab for me? And I was like, you think I'm qualified? He said, we'll learn together. And so sure enough, I graduated in 92 with my bachelor's undergrad, and was fortunate enough to run the meat lab there until 1999. And I learned a lot, and I got to coach some judging teams and meet a plethora of great kids that are out in the industry now and make those connections. And then from there, I went to Colorado State to run that meat lab.
Well, just pause for 1 second.
Sorry.
Like, no, you're so humble. Like, I'm sitting here talking to a guy who's, I bet a lot of the listeners like, oh, wow, Mr. Behrends, this is the guy, and I just, your humility, your kind of willingness to kind of sit down here and have a podcast conversation on a spur of the moment. You're just walking in the hotel. I'm like, hey, you want to go do a podcast? You're like, okay.
Right.
Like all of that. I guess I'm bringing it up to say you just don't know who you're going to bump into in the SMA or in any everyday piece of your life.
That's for
somebody that could really teach you something, help you, challenge you, mentor you, all these things. So that's why I wanted to pause just a second. Just like, it's a cool story. I think it's going to only get cooler as we go. But listeners, people in the SMA, people out in the business world, in the meat industry, don't lose sight of that truth. So really, thanks for sitting down, because this is pretty exciting hearing some of what you've done.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I'll echo SMA 1,000%. When I was at Angelo State, we came to the conferences and brought students and tried to get them exposed to what SMA can offer to the meat industry.
Yeah.
And you were talking about connections. I walked in yesterday, and Dr. John Skanga was here, and he was my mentor at Colorado State, and it was just great to see him. And I knew coming to this conference that I would have the opportunity to see some people I hadn't seen in a while, just because of who all is out there. I mean, everybody says the meats world is a small world, and it is. And so it's really neat to see those kind of people and know that you're going to meet some here that I hadn't seen in a while, and meet some new people, and that I can add to my Rolodex.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And you did kind of say, well, y'all are Texans, and you're not going to want to hear anything from New Mexico. But the fact is, the Southwest Meat Association is national. Like, we got people from all over the place. So
yep, we got the Louisiana guy is the one facilitating, and I know there's some here, I think, from Arizona. And we're kind of in the middle, and we're, like I said, we're trying to build that culture in New Mexico. So any connections that I can give our guys there, our little producers, to help them flourish is, and Southwest Meat Association, SMA, is a great resource. So if I can bring that back to them and say, hey, check these guys out, and if I can make an impact on one, then I've done my job.
Yeah. I mean, it is that simple sometimes. Have you been to the convention, the SMA convention in the summer?
Yes.
Okay. Like a lot of times, a couple times?
I think maybe 3 or 4 times. I haven't lately because, going to New Mexico and all that stuff. I know it's in Galveston this year, right?
Yeah.
But our deputy director, she's here because I want her to learn the whole culture. That she was with the Texas inspection, and so I was able to pluck her over to New Mexico and help us get it started. But I'm trying to get her to see this side of it and the culture, and I was trying to get her to go to Galveston and take her family and just see what it's all about.
Yeah. I hope this isn't a faux pas or some kind of offensive thing, but I am curious. Does the USDA dislike state inspections? I mean, is there a rub there? Have you felt it? Do you feel like, I'm just curious because you got this federal thing, and now you're kind of trying to do a state thing. Let's talk about that.
No, that's a great question, and I'll admit my ignorance coming into this job. I didn't know much about state inspection at all.
Yeah.
And I had dealt with inspectors, federal inspectors, my whole career at different meat labs, at different, facilities I had worked at, but I'd never really known the state side. So this really opened up. And it kind of depends on who you talk to, their feeling of whether or not USDA is. I think they've done a great job of supporting what we're trying to get started in New Mexico, which I appreciate because we seem to be losing our FSIS presence there in New Mexico. And I really want to work with them. And I worked with the compliance officer there kind of took me under his wing right away when I said, what do y'all do? And can I shadow you and see? And he's done a great job. Well, he just got a promotion to move to Florida.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, and so talking to Dr. Ransom yesterday, which I knew from Colorado State, which was another great connection, he wanted to see where we were at. And I said, we just need some help from you guys. And I'm hoping to talk to Dr. McKean today. She's the district supervisor. Well, she runs the New Mexico side of FSIS. We're under the Dallas district. And so just kind of want to pick her brain and what's coming up and how can we help us help you, in other words, because these little guys in New Mexico, they have the biggest hearts and they want to do what's right for the producers and they want to promote the culture. They just need some assistance. Yeah. And so trying to see how to put all that together.
So does the state inspection enforce food safety, food quality, HACCP, any of these things?
All of it, yes.
All of it?
Yeah, basically to have a state inspection program, to sign the cooperative agreement with USDA, we have to be at least equal to what they do.
There we go.
So
I've always worked in a USDA federally inspected plant or within companies that have those plants. And then I would kind of hear about, well, they're state inspected. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I really don't know what that means.
Right. That's where I was at.
Yeah. So it's as stringent as you're not going to get to be a state inspection agency, I guess is the way you'd put it, without some partnership with the USDA.
Right. And they have 9 components that we have to comply to. I don't know if comply is the right word, but we have to make sure that those 9 are all set up along the same vein that USDA has. And so we've got about all 9 of them nailed down. And so now the next step is to sign the agreement and get off on our own. But you're right. There was always the perception that, you're custom and then you go to state and then the final step is federal, but it's not. If you want to stay state, you're just as regulated, which is not always a good term, but basically you're in the same boat. The only difference is if you're state inspected versus federal, you can't sell your product across state lines, but there's some rumblings going on to kind of change that just to help promote more of the state guys, so.
Well, it all kind of folds underneath this truth, I believe. I never worry about if I'm going to get sick eating food in the United States of America.
Isn't that the truth?
And that is thanks to the USDA, the state inspection services, the people in the business.
Right, the knowledge.
Yeah, who are scared. Like, if you say the word recall in a group of people who run plants, they all kind of just get shaky, because you do not want to have that happen.
Right. And you're right. We definitely have the safest food in the world, and I'm proud to be part of that. I am not where I am today without thousands of people behind me, you know, and those are the great connections I have. And so I want to give back from what I've gained, not only my knowledge, but also mentorship, stuff that has nothing to do with meats, what they provided to me spiritually, you know, just keeping me from getting off in the weeds, you know, and just knowing this is going to hurt a little bit, but it's for the best. And so there's been some people that have really pushed me. And at the time I was like, seriously? And then you look back and you're like, man, that's, you know, I couldn't have done it without that. So
absolutely. Okay, so the last piece you were telling about your story or your career or the things you've done was you'd gone up to Colorado State to run their lab.
Yes, sir.
So let's pick back up there because I ran us off the rails a little bit.
You know, I had the opportunity to go to Colorado State, like you mentioned, and run their meat lab up there. And just like Texas Tech has a great faculty, at that time Colorado State had, you know, top notch. And so it was an exciting opportunity to go work with and pick the brain of some more absolutely wonderful meat industry professionals. And so that was a great experience. And so I was up there till 2006 and then met my wife up there and decided it was time to get back to Texas. You know, my parents still lived in Fredericksburg and they were aging and they needed more. I felt, you know, I'd done my time out in the world and now it's time to come back and kind of reconnect. And so moved to Amarillo, worked for BPI, which at the time was Beef Products Incorporated, which is now Empirical Foods. They are the pink slime people, right? And so I was glad to know when all that came out that I actually knew how they made it. It was safe,
right? Some
of the best product, and they were just getting a bad rap.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, that's kind of the other interesting thing for, you know, here we are off on another little tangent, but pink slime, man, it just sounds like nasty.
Yes.
And it's a kind of a great way to find a way to point a finger at a industry that maybe you disagree with, maybe you just, you know, have a different perspective on. But what is also true is we're sitting here as that industry saying, you're getting it all wrong.
Right.
Like this stuff is not. Now, do I love looking at pink slime or at, what is it actually called? Mechanically separated.
Right.
Beef, whatever it is.
Right. No, that's.
Probably not, but I'm not scared to find out that I've ate it.
Right.
Because it's not like going to kill me.
Right. And you know the preparation of it has been strict regulations, and the company's not going to put out something low quality or something that's not going to work. Otherwise, they're not going to be in business. Yeah. And, you know, BPI and their owner, Eldon Roth, was cutting edge. Yeah. And, you know, what he's done for the industry has just really opened a lot of doors. And so when I worked at HEB and actually dealt with customers and they would ask me, I was really glad that I had the knowledge to tell them, no, let me tell you what it really is and how it's benefited the industry. And then you can send them off with a different perspective. And so probably that's my greatest, I don't know, what I'm happiest about with my career is that I can defend something that people are questioning, and I can somehow
ignorant
maybe go back into my directory and say, no, I've seen this and I've done it, and it looks weird here, but this is what really happens. And so if I can infuse that confidence in the customer, then like I said, if I can just affect one person, then I've done a job. So
I feel like life is a conversation, you know, and some words create a certain mental image. Some words create a certain feeling. So it's like, oh yeah, well, we got to explore that a little bit. You can't just kind of run away the second you get that scary feeling or that unsure feeling.
Right, that's for sure.
Registration is now open for SMA's 70th Annual Convention and Suppliers Showcase, happening July 22nd through the 25th. Join the Southwest Meat Association for one of the industry's longest-standing events, bringing together professionals from across the meat industry for networking, education, and connection. From engaging sessions to valuable face-to-face opportunities on the supplier showcase floor to activities and experiences that make it fun for the whole family, this is an event you don't want to miss. Visit our website to register today and secure your spot.
Hello, meat people. This is Rick Kimbrell with Start Clean. I want to share with you real quick about how ocean near misses and recordables can be related to each other. We chose to reduce the number of recordables by using the red card, yellow cards used in soccer. We use it proactively to coach safety and to have more conversations with our employees about safety. It's familiar, it's non-threatening, it's a great warning system. Call us, it's a free program. I'll be happy to share it with you to keep all of our meat people safe.
No, you just kind of calmly and mentioned worked at HEB. Okay, so how'd that happen?
Well, in my whole life, I always wanted to end up at retail because I wanted to help the customer.
Yeah.
But in getting there, I wanted to learn as much as I could, like I said, so that when they asked me a question, I could confidently answer. And if I couldn't, at least I knew somebody to call and say, hey, what's going on here? And so after I left BPI, I worked at a tiny little mom and pop meat place there in Amarillo called Eads Meats.
Okay.
I just wanted to get back to fundamentals of cutting meat, working with the butchers, seeing what had changed in the industry, kind of get that feeling. And then I had an opportunity to go to Austin and work at a deer processing. My goodness. Downtown Austin, we could see the Capitol from our front door. And we did over 6,100 deer that season in the middle of Austin. Company? My goodness, that opened my eyes to that side.
Yeah.
And what that brings, because not only were we doing that, but during the work day, we were federally inspected and we were making all the sausage for Dickey's Barbecue.
So what company was that?
That was called Hudson Sausage.
Okay. I just almost knew it had to be because I've talked to those guys a few times.
They're in Bernie. So Barrett Klein had Hudson Sausage. He also has Klein Smokehouse there in Bernie. And so, again, that was another great contact to have in my Rolodex because, they're still going. And we saw them at the AMP conference last year in Kansas City. It was great to run into them and see how they were doing. But yeah, I learned the deer processing side. And then San Angelo Packing was looking for a QA manager.
Yeah.
And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to see the cow and bull side. And they were all like, you don't want to go into that, right? And I was like, why not? Let's go learn. And so I had the opportunity to work there and meet a lot of good people.
Yeah.
And their owners were with SMA, and that's kind of another avenue that I was able to go down. And then from there I went to HEB. And
that's just fun to hear. So I'm connected to a lot of these kind of things. Your life has touched too. So I was at Tech from 96 to 2000. So we're in Lubbock at the same time.
Yes, we are.
We just never bumped into each other. And then on our ranch, we raise registered Hereford bulls, and sometimes they get injured. Sometimes they don't make the grade. Well, where do we take them? Angelo Pack or ABF or one of these other places. So it's like, we've touched a lot of the similar things. Fredericksburg, that's another interesting conversation too. It's like, look at that town. Has that thing really took advantage of its heritage, its position on the earth? It's really just a cool place to go.
Yes. I hear that all the time. I grew up in Fredericksburg. Oh, we love that town. I'm saying, well, go check it out. Even my deputy director, when we were down at A&M for training, she's like, I'm going to scoot on into Fredericksburg since I'm so close. I said, yeah, go ahead. Go enjoy the atmosphere.
That's right.
And so.
All right. So what role did you play at HEB?
So I went in there again. I just wanted to be a simple meat cutter. Yeah. I wanted to learn the clientele, the cuts, learn the codes. I wanted to work side by side with the butchers, the guys on the block, the wrappers, the cleanup guys.
Yeah.
Eventually I wanted to run the market. But first I felt like I need to be on their level, and it's not, I don't mean that bad.
Sure.
But, I had managed people before. I said the best way to earn these guys' respect is get in there and work shoulder to shoulder. And so I told the guy that hired me, I said, I don't want them to know I have a master's. I don't want them to know my background. I just want them. I want to lead by example.
Yeah, you're kind of like the undercover boss,
right? In a way.
Yeah.
And so eventually, I went through their leadership program and became the market manager. And
which store was that?
It's store in San Angelo. And that time we only had one, and the oil boom was going on, and we were slammed busy, and and the dynamics of HEB, they're out of San Antonio. And so we, at that time, before the Lubbock store and all that, we were kind of on the outskirts. And so as we went out, we got whatever was left on the truck. We would try to, which I understand, right? And so, but that was kind of a challenge. But HEB just keeps growing, and they're an awesome company.
Yeah.
And we are waiting for them to come to Amarillo so that we can enjoy the shopping experience there. But yeah, it was great. But Angelo State had an opportunity for me to get back into coaching and teaching and helping there. And so I was able to go back there and kind of do what I did at Tech and Colorado State, is help run the meat lab and get back into that arena. Because I missed having the impact on the students. I missed seeing that side of it, the teaching side, which I could do that at HEB, but it was a totally different level at Angelo State. And so there I got to meet and work with some more great faculty and add more people in my Rolodex. And
I just interviewed somebody from Angelo State. So I went to Ennis, Texas, the Columbia processing facility.
That's where you talked to Dr. Cassens.
Yes.
I saw that one. Yes,
when
sir.
I was there was somebody, sorry, whoever this is, that was from Angelo State, because all the teams are there.
Was it Dr. Trent Schwartz?
No, I don't think so. I think it might have been a grad student or somebody that was coaching the team.
Oh.
So, I talked to a few of the team members, like either coaches or, not everybody was a doctor yet. Some of them were just, we're trying to get a visual of what do these scholarships do that we're putting out there as an association. Show me a few of those people that are benefiting from that. And we've got people today. I mean, Joe Harris benefited from an SMA scholarship, and he's running this
and look what he's done. Oh, yeah,
it's
been amazing. So
trying to just kind of keep the momentum, because keeping an association together is no small feat.
No.
I mean, just because it's easy to kind of fall away from it, get distracted by all the business you've got to try to conduct. And so we just want to make sure we keep feeding that
absolutely
requirement.
And there's never an ending to the undergrads that want to be part of it. Yeah. And that's what's great. They're out there going, who can I talk to, or what can I be involved with? And so that's where SMA can step in and say, hey, let us open this door for you. And
you bet. Well, and running those meat labs and stuff, you're seeing those students and you're saying, hey, this kid's worthy. Let's help them.
Yes, and that was another gratifying thing, is you bring somebody in there like, here's this guy, good luck. And then 4 years later, they got some awesome job in the industry, and they're a leader, and you're like, yeah, it just takes some motivation and some focus and some leading by example that, no, this is what you can do.
Yeah.
And so that to me is probably the most rewarding thing, is seeing other people succeed, and then knowing that I can call them if I have an issue or whatever. So
I'm laughing at myself here, because I bet somebody looked at me at age 18, 20 and said, is this guy ever going to do anything? It's like, my dad did, I'm sure. He's like, I hope my son figures it out. And I'm sure he still kind of feels that way.
Right.
I'm 48 years old and realizing every day, I don't know anything. I got so much stuff to figure out, from accrual accounting to cash accounting and to all these crazy pieces of what it takes to run a business. Leadership, mentorship, being a part of a team, taking criticism, all that stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I was in the same boat. I came in high school, long hair, rocker. They're like, you're an ag kid? Somewhere down deep I am. Right. I'll show you someday. But, it's just who I was,
Oh, so you played the drums?
Yes, sir.
The snare or what?
Oh, no, I had the drum kit. I was in a band at Colorado State, some of the grad students, and that was a blast, because I got to run the meat lab, and I got to be in the band, so we would provide the barbecue and the music, and so, it was great. That was a lot of fun times.
Yeah.
So
I wish I was musical. My wife sings a bit. She's musical. Her side of the family's musical. I can't carry a tune in a bucket.
I can't sing either. But
And I also can't kind of even keep a consistent beat. Like,
right.
I'm just not musical. Although, I mean, I'm not scared to just let her rip.
Right.
I'll sing. I don't care.
It's all from the heart, right?
I think church taught me that.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's true.
God is not really concerned with how pretty it sounds to other people. He's mostly concerned about how pretty it sounds to him. And my kids, they can howl like a wolf, but I love it. You know, I love to hear them try. I love to hear them.
Exactly.
So that's how
Absolutely.
I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's just be yourself, right? And in today's world, it's hard. You know, I tell my kids, you know, just be yourself. Don't, but it's hard. You know, it's easier said than done.
Sure. Well, I mean, we can all say all these things, but we're humans and we get in groups and we get to play in this comparison game. It's like, oh, well, look at what they did. You know, I do that with the podcast. I'm like, well, Joe Rogan's got millions of listeners. How come I can't do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because I'm not supposed to do that. This is not supposed to do that. This is supposed to do the thing it does.
Right.
And
you have your little niche, and that's what you
there's
focus
no
on.
rule that says it can't, it won't be, wouldn't be, can't be. But the idea that it has to be is crazy.
Right.
So,
and a lot of times that's what deters people is they just get frustrated. And you're like, no, look what, like I said, if you can affect one person, then you've done some good.
Well, and you should know you affected me. Like I'm getting off so we get on the elevator together and you're like, you're the podcast guy. I recognize you. Guess what? That made me feel good. You know, it's like, and it's Eddie, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I've been sitting here thinking, man, I'm going to get his name wrong. But anyway, and I'm thinking, Eddie just took this half a second to recognize me and say, hey, I appreciate what you do, which made my day. So it's that simple, folks. It's not hard. Like you recognize somebody, you see somebody, hey, I like that jacket. Nice jacket.
Right. They're looking for that in today's world. And somewhere I read, you know, tell somebody sometime during the day, man, that's awesome. You just made my day. Yeah. Because it can totally change whatever route they're on, you know? And so you're right. When you say that, that makes me feel good because I would like to make somebody's, you know, let them know that, hey, that's awesome. That, you know, you just made my day. Yeah. You know, and
it didn't cost you much.
Right. Usually it doesn't cost anything.
Right.
And just like I said yesterday when I got here, seeing some of my old friends and mentors, that made my day. Yeah. You know, and I need to tell them, I need to be more about, hey, man, it's great to see you. Just made my day being here, you know. So you're right. That makes a huge impact.
It's not easy sometimes to show up, but if you do, it pays you back.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, it's so hard sometimes to just do the simplest thing, which is show up. Yep. And then if you do, though, it really works.
Yeah. My wife's great. She's like, you always say you don't want to go or you don't. And then when you get there, you're like, man, I'm glad we went, you know, and she's awesome. She has that mindset.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but but the world's telling you, don't go, you know, don't take that challenge, you know, you're just going to fail. And so if you can provide a little light or a little path and somebody will follow you.
Oh, that's another question I had a minute ago. You brought me back to it. In all these kind of moves you've made in your career from here to there to that, would you say you were looking for them or you kind of got recruited to them?
So honestly, I was just reflecting on that a while ago. I have been blessed to have the opportunities open up for me. Yeah. And that's what I tell students. I say, you know, if you get your master's, you know, it allows you get your undergrad, that allows you some. You get your master's and it puts more tools in your tool belt. Yeah. And so you're able to step away and say, you know what, this is not for me. I'm going to see if I can do something different. And if you have the experiences and you have the knowledge and the people, the contacts, then maybe you can go another route. But no, I've been so blessed that if something wasn't working out, something else came apart. And this job I have now with the livestock board just came about. A great family friend was talking to my wife. She's like, "What's Eddie doing?" And Mariana was like, "He's honestly kind of looking. Oh, we got the perfect thing for him." I mean, and I look up at God and go, "Wow, when does it end?"
Right.
You know. And so another huge blessing where I can glorify Him and all the things that have built up to this point, all the people, you know, that have touched my life and pushed me and put me where I'm at. You know, and SMA's been a big part of that, you know, and there's a lot of other associations, but yeah, it's very rewarding. And so I look for ways to give back, you know.
Did y'all hear that? Look for ways to give back, because it'll make you feel great. Oh. Thanks for listening to the Meet People podcast. Eddie, thanks for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure.
People.
Absolutely.
Just spur of the moment.
To sit in the same chair as some of the people you've had on this podcast is an honor for me.
Awesome. Cool.
Sure.
Well, I've learned something. I've enjoyed it. I mean, I've had a ton of fun sitting here talking to you.
I have too.
I hope everybody listening's had the same amount of fun. If you loved it, tell somebody else about it. Share it. Let's get the word out. And y'all keep listening and watching the Meet People podcast. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.